such an asshole.
In full intellectually honest disclosure, the women of South Dakota look nothing like that. That is false advertising. If you come here, you will be woefully let down on what the women look like. And so it's like, bring your own beer, bring your own gal. The back, there's some spots in South Dakota that look like the background. Like there are parts that look like that. But yeah, the girls don't look like that. Better bring your own. Hi, Aaron. Not sure if you have seen the recent goings-ons in Nova Scotia. However, the government overreaches off the scale. They have literally banned walking in the woods to the tune of $25,000 fine due to it being summer and we have 2 to 3 weeks without rain, all with the intention that walking, fishing, etc. will cause forest fires. I'm the same age as you and could retire now. However, I'm hoping to get 5 more years out of this work thing just to ensure I have enough salted away to last. I'm considering a move in 5 years, earlier if things get much worse here, to South or North Dakota. They seem to both be states with their heads screwed on the right way. Both offer a reasonable driving distance to Canada, which I will likely need to visit for passport, banking reasons, etc. Can you recommend a place in South Dakota? Okay, so you don't want me to mention North Dakota. All right. Just South Dakota. North Dakota, I'll tell you, there's like, Bismarck, Fargo. I mean, they're bigger towns than what you're looking for. Minot would be very close, but it's military. But you want South Dakota. Which is rural within 15 to 20 minutes of driving distance for groceries, is near an area with good accessible public land for waterfowl and pheasant hunting. Oh, the pheasant hunting is going to put you on the east side of South Dakota. It is also in close proximity to a decent sporting clay club. I'm from a small fishing village in Nova Scotia. I am not looking for a suburb, but a place to build a small house with few neighbors. I'm quite used to living in very rural areas. Dirt roads don't scare me. In fact, preferred. Doesn't need to be a video request, but if you would like to do one, that is fine with me. I will also consider North Dakota if you can think of a place that fits the bill. I'm not as familiar with North Dakota as I am South Dakota. And I prefer South Dakota anyway because there's no state income taxes and it's warmer. If you're in North Dakota, now, of course, you're Nova Scotia. That's not as bad as the rest of Canada in terms of winter. The winters are miserable in North Dakota. They're not much better in South Dakota either. And you can really get a bigger break from the winters if you're on the western side of South Dakota by the Black Hills. But it's not that much of a reprieve. And the pheasant hunting is not as good. If you want pheasant hunting, that's going to be on the east side. And they split it. You look at the Missouri River, more or less splits South Dakota in half. And there's East River and West River. And the West River people are obviously superior to the East River people. The East River people with their farms and their wind panels and their butchery shops over in Sioux Falls, they're they're not us. Us West River South, we're the true South Dakotans, says the guy who lived here 4 whole years of his life. There actually is a little funny, go back and forth between East and West. There's a shirt, I mentioned it before, it's just got side. And South Dakota is just a rectangle, basically. And there's a line in the middle with the Missouri River. And if you're in Western South Dakota, you get a shirt and says us and them. But if you're in Eastern South Dakota, us is on the east side and them is on the west side. Anyway, so I would recommend South Dakota for no state income taxes over North Dakota. It's a little bit warmer. But if you're going to be on the east side hunting your pheasants, it's still going to be cold as tits. It's going to be cold, but something I think a Canadian can handle just fine. But then just North Dakota, I'll go really quickly over it. And there's not that many big, yeah, you're going to have to stay on the eastern side of North Dakota as well, which is the coldest side. You'd be looking at Fargo. Where'd the map go? There it is. Fargo, Bismarck, Jamestown. I've never been to any of these other towns. What is the name of that town? Yeah, there's not a lot in North in Minot. You go to Minot, but I don't know if they got fish up there. Grand Forks, Devil's Lake. Yeah, if you want pheasant hunting, eastern South Dakota, that's the place to go. All right, now let me go back down to South Dakota. It all looks the same. It all blurs together. Why can't it? All right, is that it? There. Just want to make sure I got my. Just bear with me. Why won't it do that? What is this town? Hang on. Oh, it's Brookings. That's what it was. Yeah, don't put that on the map, YouTube. All right. Let me get your request up here. Let me scroll back to what you want. Okay. So this is going to put you, the fact you want to pheasant hunt is going to put you on the east side of South Dakota. Pheasant Hunting Central is located around a town called Redfield, South Dakota. There is a grocery store there. It is small. This is not a big grocery store, but you're going to be out in the middle of nowhere. That's where your pheasants will be. And it's pretty remote. Now, that's just dead center. That's based on how many pheasant I almost hit with my fucking motorcycle. The many times I've driven 212 out to the Black Hills. Atham, look it up. The other towns in those areas are fine. Gettysburg, I go through, that's got a grocery store. If you want the capital city of South Dakota, Pierre, that's something you might want to consider. It's a little bit more populated, not much though. But that's also close to the Missouri River. So if you want to get your waterfowl in and you're fishing, you're going to probably want to be closer to the Missouri River. Now you look at things like Gettysburg, Pierre. There's not many other towns. Chamberlain, which is on the interstate. And that, you're starting to get a little south. There's not as much. Like if you're in Redfield, dead center, eastern South Dakota, you could walk out and kick a pheasant. Chamberlain, based on what I've seen, not a lot, but a lot of duck hunting and all that along the Missouri River. So that's going to be your question. How far away do you want to be away from fishing and waterfowl and duck hunting and all that, which is going to be the Missouri River? And there's not that many towns, Pierre, Chamberlain, Gettysburg. I've been to them all. I'm just trying to think if there's any other major. Yeah, there really isn't. No, there's not. There is not. Like there's a town called Pollock. I've never been to that. That's way up north. Maybe that's your dream. And just so you know, all these small towns do have to have some kind of grocery store, but it's not going to be that big. Now, if you wanted something a little bit more cosmopolitan, I just looked up, okay, where are the Walmarts in South Dakota? And there's not that many. There's Sioux Falls. I think that's too far south and too far east. It's a major metro for South Dakota. You don't have to live in that area, but you'd have everything you need in there. Better than that would be a town called Mitchell, South Dakota. There's a Walmart there, but maybe you don't want to, that's too big of a city. I think it's like 50,000 people. Chamberlain might be one you want to check. And by the way, you can do this. You're going to obviously want to come visit and check out all these towns. Huron is one you might want to consider. Huron, South Dakota. Let me make sure I got that. Yep. That's pretty central. It's just south of Redfield. That's pretty central to pheasant country. Watertown, you're getting too far, close to Minnesota and cold, but yeah, there's pheasant out there, but you're way too far away from the Missouri River. But I'd be looking. There's not a lot of towns for you to check out. And if you wanted to be within a driving distance of a Walmart, yeah, an hour out of Huron, an hour out of Pierre. It looks no, that's Pierre. Pierre has a Walmart. Mitchell, Watertown, and that's Brookings. Another town you may want to consider is Aberdeen. Getting a little north, but it's kind of central, eastern South Dakota. But yeah, those are your towns. If you don't want a Walmart, then I see no reason for you to go further west where it gets a little bit warmer and you're closer to the Missouri River. But again, the only three towns, Mobridge, never been there. Don't know what it's at. But yeah, Gettysburg, Pierre and Chamberlain. I might recommend you look at those. It's because yeah, you're on the river. Yeah, they're small. Yeah, you don't have to live in town. Should be good enough for you. Because otherwise you're getting away from the river. You're making it a 2-hour drive to go to where the river is. The other thing is you want to know where there's clay shooting. It's kind of all over. I looked for like clay shooting. They got clay club in Pierre. They got a clay club in what's it called? Aberdeen. So you're not going to have too much trouble finding a shooting club out there in any place. But like a dedicated facility, I don't know. But yeah, just to expedite your reconnaissance, I'd come in. I don't know if you can fly to Sioux Falls or what, but I'd hit Chamberlain and Pierre, maybe hit Gettysburg. If you're coming out of Sioux Falls, you're going to drive through Mitchell. I would check out Gettysburg and Redfield. Huron I've never been to, but it's got a Walmart. Brookings, never been to. Aberdeen, never been to. Watertown, I mean, it's a fine town, but there's nothing. It's just you're starting to get into the plains. And if you're closer to the Missouri River, then you're much closer to driving out to the Rockies if you wanted to do something that isn't flat, boring state. And nowhere in any of the places that I mentioned are there pretty women. Nowhere. And that's about it. Hopefully that saved you some gas. Look at that. And the good old South Dakota internet is here. I cannot wait to get the new internet's coming, ladies and gentlemen. It's coming. All right. Is that it? Any super chats? No super chats. There you guys go. Questions, answers, AstroConsulting.com. We'll see you guys later. Toodles.